Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the grounds with Giles, Jones, Slagle, and Cappuccino. It's Friday, and we made it through another week. Hope you all had a really good week. Thanks for tuning in, joining us today to talk about anything from peanut butter to politics, but
no politics.
No politics. We know that never really ends awesome, but it is fun sometimes to talk about, right?
I think there's going to be some gray area there.
There's
going to be a lot of chunky peanut butter in here.
Yes, well, I've heard that life that we live in the gray, right? Life is not black and white, which I thought for many years it was black and white. Now it's the gray. So let's investigate the gray and what Kent calls the what? What are we calling it today?
The New America.
New America. Welcome to the New America.
New Merica.
Yep. America.
Yep. Oh, my goodness.
And, this show could not be possible without the help and support of our sponsors, Natural Therapy Wellness in McHenry there. I have no idea what their phone number is because I am a horrible, horrible host giving out our advertiser's name. And then JH Flowers and Events that has two places in McHenry over there on basically Green Street and Bull Valley Road by the
that's the City Hall.
City Hall. There you go.
Please don't drop us as sponsors.
I don't have my cue card, but and then the massage place. You got to stop in with Natural Therapy Wellness. They're right in downtown McHenry. Those guys are amazing. If you're going in there stressed out, just like Kent said, you'll come out blessed. I mean, I fell asleep last time I got a massage, and that's when someone's rubbing you that hard and you fall asleep. You know they're doing something good. So those guys are awesome.
This is a family show.
Yeah, is it?
Rubbing what? What did you say?
Yeah, rubbing what?
We all know. I feel like we all knew, and then I'm not surprised even a little bit right now.
The word Voldemort, we just don't say it's the unspoken word.
The unspoken word. That's awesome.
There you go.
I flushed that one right down, huh?
Yeah, New America, right? Crazy week here in the United States. The presidential election went on, and a lot of good things happening around the world, and a lot of people. It's a weird, right? There's a lot of tension and a lot of idiocracy and a lot of dumb Americans. Can I put that out there?
Yeah, absolutely. It's your opinion and you love it.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
There's Uncle Pete too. You got something to say? You want to be part of this show? Come on in. Put that link right in your URL and we'll be glad to talk with you. But big week here in America. And as I said, it didn't matter who the new president was going to be. By the end of the term, it ain't going to be the same as it is today.
Right.
Before we even kick that off, I want to give some props to probably one of the best college basketball coaches alive, and they had a rough one yesterday. Obviously, his voice is a little shy. Kent Jones,
Bobby Knight's still
out
coaching.
there, really pushing the envelope with these girls, and they had a good game. But at the same time, not everybody wins. It was an educational day yesterday for them. And I think I read everything you paid me to say. Is that about right?
That's about right.
Everything.
Right. Thank you. That's it.
Hey, if they gave it 110%, that's all that matters. Man.
Thanks for tuning in.
Life cannot be all about.
Have a great Friday.
You know what? Here is the reason I wanted to talk about this is because we've become just a weird nation. And I'm trying to figure out where we became weird at. We've bought into a lot of narratives. We've bought into a lot of non-truths. I'm not going to use the word misinformation because information is information. But a lot of people in this nation have chosen to believe almost biblically the narratives that are out there. And there's in the first time in my 55 years, and I voted since I was 18, I've never cared, right? I vote because that's my right to vote. But I've never cared truthfully, like who sat in the chair, right?
Wow, that's interesting.
Because I remember civics class, okay? And
Thank you.
Civics class from high school, the president doesn't have much effect on things here in my neighborhood.
The face.
Yeah, the face. Whoever sits in that chair. And I just don't understand why people think they do. And it just, you got to help me out and understand why. But most people that I talk to can't name 4 people who are on their school board.
Right.
That's a pretty sad factor.
People might know who the mayor is, but they don't know who 6 city council people are who really make things happen in your neighborhood.
Yeah, close to home.
Right. And so I'm not sure why all of a sudden, is it rock star status? Is it what happened? I don't understand. And a lot of and Steve, you've got a good story, but you do some work at a local watering hole, and there's a lot of stupidity out there right now.
It's been rampant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last couple of days.
Is it stupidity? I mean, because when you use that word, no, is it? But I want to ask: is it stupidity or is it ignorance? Right?
Same thing. At this point, no. We've been here. We've been in this situation now for 8 years. 8 years of people arguing and screaming at each other. Yeah. At this point, the ignorance is willful, and therefore, it doesn't matter if it's genuine ignorance or stupidity. It functions the same for society's purposes. And I've been watching this the last 2 days. And I've seen people screaming and yelling at each other. The election's over. The election's over. What are you still yelling about? Why are you still upset? Why are you berating every person through the door, being like, you voted Trump, right? No, don't do that. Don't do that. I sat there all day with the last 2 days in a row, and I've talked with these people. I celebrated with them when one of the regulars at the dive bar I'm currently working on, one of the regulars got up and he sang "Proud to be an American," screamed it into the microphone for the 3rd time during karaoke last night. And I sang right along with him, and I partied right along with him. And I attended their victory celebration for the candidate that they are obviously very, very happy that won, right? And then at the end of the 3rd round, Steve, get me another drink, man. I love you guys. You guys are the best, blah, blah, blah. Fuck you, you dirty liberals. You fucking lost. Okay, now he says this in the microphone, screams it. And one, you just made anybody in the room that didn't vote Trump uncomfortable. Was that necessary? Trump won. We're all here. We're all here at your celebration party. There's nothing else that this is. We're blasting American music. We've got people with Trump sweaters lining the bar, celebrating. Anybody in the bar at that point is obviously okay with the choices you've made. So don't, and then also to, in the same breath, be like, oh, you're my best friend. Like, yeah, let's have another drink. And then you fucking dirty liberals. It's like, one, I'm here celebrating with you.
True
I've been here supporting you in your happiness. But at the end of the day, there's no other way to define myself than a dirty liberal.
Well, I mean,
from your perspective,
you're 100% on the money, Steve.
So that's like, oh, okay.
Listen, it's one of those things where, and I don't think this is something that's been like new for New Merica. It's just been not as aware because now you got the Google box, you got all these things that constantly push it in front of your face. But I mean, listen, even from back in the day, it was, hey, we stand united, America, you're my brother from America. And then it's the same guy that cuts you off in traffic and then flicks you off. Yeah. It's like rooting for the team. We're so crazy that when a professional ball team wins, we destroy our own city. You know what I mean? So it's not surprising to me. And I know that we're crossing like a peanut butter line here a little bit, but listen, congratulations to the winners, and hope that our country can gain some good stability and bring and unite more people together. Hopefully that's what's going to happen. If it was Trump, if it was Kamala, I'm sorry, I always have a hard time.
Come along.
And thanks for getting us canceled. And one of the things is it's still your president, no matter what. So if you don't like Trump, listen, I'm not a big Trump fan, but I don't hate the man. The grocery store conversation with the woman wearing the red hat, as she was like the Mr. T advertisement for Trump, and wanted to have a conversation with me very angrily. And she's like, oh, you're one of those, or you're one of those. And I was like, okay. Then she went from that talking into religion, which was like everything she was saying was contradictory to herself. And finally, and I had this conversation with Ken. I said, so you like to idolize a false god then? And I'm looking at her hat. And I'm like, listen, it's okay to want to better America, but to shove it down everybody else's throat, if no matter what side you're on,
right,
is wrong to me. And I think that we forget as people that because I disagree with you doesn't mean I hate you,
right.
And that's okay. But no, that's
Right.
it's a shit show, right?
Well, and I don't really chat much about politics with people unless they're super close with me. But my big thing is you look at those people and it's just like Kent, being a coach, right? You lose that game. Are those people just going to just razz the living shit? It's like poor sportsmanship. Your team didn't win, right?
Yeah.
It is what it is. Get over it. Let's reformulate. Let's figure things out. Let's figure out how to make it better next time, right? And for me, that's so I just found out the other day while I was talking to somebody that I didn't know this, that because Kent was talking about, the news, right? That Obama actually enacted a law to where the news could legally lie, right? To change perspectives to people. And I forget what the bill is. I'll pull that up. I was freaked out when I said, so they're giving you information to pit you again. Allegedly, right? Thank you. Allegedly, information is being given, right? So
and we won't use presidents,
right? Okay, that's fair. But so you can have to decipher what information is right, wrong, or indifferent, right? Which you really should be able to do that anyway for you, no matter what. You should have proper information to go through it all. And I don't think a lot of people. Actually, I think too many people put too much weight on what one station says versus another, right?
Oh, absolutely. So,
and that's a tough one because what is real? What's not?
Now, here's the real deal to me is that it's been that way since I was a kid.
Right.
Well,
yeah.
I don't
change.
I don't know Walter Cronkite. Why am I going to believe what he says?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? I don't know any of this. I had to research things. People today don't research anything. They go, hey, I look at this TikTok, and they've got millions of followers. They're right.
Yep.
I mean, hey, listen, Joe Rogan, absolutely love you. Thanks for listening to The Grounds. Your show is incredible. 3-hour podcast is crazy, Joe. But he's a comedian. Why do I put so much faith in what a comedian says?
Well, it's funny because
all of a sudden he's brilliant.
Right. Well, in one of his acts, he says, "Listen, I'm basically an interrupter. I'm a rebel rouser. That's what I get to do. I'm a shit talker for my career, and I get paid to do it. Why do you guys believe me?
So
why believe?
Shout out to Joe Rogan.
So
shout out. Stop and see
somewhere along the timeline. It's okay for you to believe what you believe. It's not okay, however, for you to insist that everyone else believe the same as you.
Right.
And there's my rub.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's my rub.
Right.
I have my own opinion. My opinion's not Steve's opinion. It's not Scott's. It's not Drew's. And Kelsey, we miss you this morning.
Yeah,
wish
Kelsey.
you were here.
Shout out to Kelsey.
Yep. And because I would love to get a woman's perspective on everything that's rocking and rolling too. But here's the deal. The deal is, I don't care just be a decent human being. Steve, you're not an asshole. I like you, right? Believe what you want to believe, do what you want to do. But if you're not an asshole to me,
I like Steve because he is an asshole. I mean,
there you go. There you go.
or at least he brings up some good conversations, right?
The point stands, though. You just be a decent human being, and I think a lot of people forgot about that the last couple of days and the last couple of years.
Years,
and,
yeah.
You asked earlier what the difference is. Why are we so crazy right now? There's a very simple answer. When I was a kid, elections, while people were afraid, weren't based around increasing their fear. It was based around running for president.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right.
Starting, and then you even go back. Let's go back. Obama, McCain. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Republicans desperately afraid, small town, like not a lot of crying, holding McCain's hand, saying, "What if Obama wins? I'm terrified of what is going to happen if Obama wins. You know, and I'm sure you remember what McCain said to him. He goes, he's a great guy.
Yeah.
Because there's literally nothing to be worried about. He is a fantastic person. He's a fantastic father. He's a family man. He loves America. He's going to be great. He goes, I hope I win. I'll do my best for you. He goes, so he's going to do his best for you too. He's going to do his best for you. Yeah. He took that fear. He assuaged it. He smoothed it out. And he said, let's all do this the right way.
Right.
That was the last time that ever happened.
So somebody said, maybe it was Scott, one of you guys said something like, hey, your team won.
That was me.
Yeah, no, we're all on the same. We're all Americans.
Well, that's
right. We're all on the same fucking
team.
Right.
Yeah.
The Constitution was built on like a 5 or 6 party. That's why it was written. There was a lot of different parties, and we've bastardized everything down to a 2-party thing. And now it's us against them. We're literally, in my opinion, in a civil war because you are R and I'm a D.
And
right.
Well, that's the thing when you're saying that too, as far as we are, that's why I was bringing up the thing of the team, right? Losing because we are on the same team. Do we want to do the same play? Do we want the same assistant coach? Do we want the same coach, right? I mean, we all have the end goal is to have a good America, right? To have a good country to live in, to be fair, to be able to grow and prosper.
Steve from Grapevine. I think you got
we got Texas in the house.
I think you got a fingerprint.
You want to go hard R?
I think you got
Don, my man's in the house.
Yeah.
You know,
and that's.
I thought that we were blurring out.
Had a smudge there, didn't I? Had a smudge.
You guys were starting to hit on that point, and that actually with that song that I love so much, just work hard and be nice to people. I mean, we've all got the same. I'm going to use this, and it's not, but the same opportunities. It's our world, right? It's up to us to give to the world, right?
I don't got a '63 Corvette. Do you, Steve?
Not the last time I checked.
Yeah,
I will.
If I go outside and I have the keys to one,
I will before I
leave.
I will before I leave the studio.
But you know what I'm saying? We are all in this together, right? And yes, we have differences of opinions. Right. Okay, but we are. You're the one that kind of brought it up. It's our country. Yes, we have differences and thoughts, and that's where for me it's really tough with politics, and that's why I generally don't talk about them. At least unless it's just somebody super close like you guys, because you can offend so many people. You can offend so many people so easily on something so simple. When all I really want is a good country, right, that gives everybody the opportunities, right, and I'm going to use this word fair. I mean, what's fair? But just it's something that we can grow upon, right? That we can actually use, that we can be proud of. And so many people are not. So many, this, that, and the other. It's always blaming everybody else. It's not what you're doing, right? You have just as much input in the world to make it a good world every day by your interactions with every person. This whole thing, and I feel that this is me, 100% my opinion. I feel that politics is a very divisive, right, part of our world. And they do that to pit people against us because there are, I feel, once again, not the station, everything, that there are a lot of other agendas hidden behind things, right? And I don't think a lot of people get that or understand that.
So listen, because we have the internet and because we consume so much data, what isn't being viewed or listened to is a lot of people go by opinionated data instead of factual data. Mm-hmm. And so I tell a lot of people, be careful on the data that you consume, because once it's here, it's here. Right. It never leaves.
How do you decipher?
So, if you do your homework, if you feel if somebody says XYZ, then make sure that it's really XYZ. Right. You know what I mean? Then form your own opinion off of factual data, not off of somebody else's opinion that was somebody else's opinion that was somebody else's opinion. Right. And then that becomes this angry fest, right? Now we look like everybody's running in the walls and the election's over and Trump won and congratulations to the right for that. And I hope we have a great 4 years and prosper as a unit. But there's people out there that are like, people are going to come into schools now and shoot up schools, and people are going to and
doing that.
Right.
Allegedly.
And the gay community is flying off the shelf with, we're not going to have. Listen, nothing's happened yet. Go get factual data instead of just being angry and scared. Nothing has ever been accomplished with panic.
True.
Don, my man, buddy.
Hey, good morning. Well, first of all, Dick, I don't know if you're seeing comments. I was laying down some gold and you were just ignoring it, or you can all see it.
There's no
through?
comments
Oh,
coming
No
through right
comments
now.
Oh, good.
through.
Thank God you
I
jumped
thought it
on.
was. I thought it was because we were talking politics.
No, I thought it was
wow.
weird that
Peanutbutter.
nobody was here. I was like, not
Let me,
Don, not Shayna, not anybody. Where
Yeah,
is-
myself and Shayna have both thrown a couple
Oh,
comments.
really? All right. Well,
But
hey,
one
Shayna,
comment,
sorry.
one thing I wanted to share with you guys that came up earlier was Deke, you brought up Rogan. What I said in my notes is that Rogan's brilliance is that he just has people on to have a conversation. You brought up
Hold
Rogan.
on just a second.
There
you go. Sorry.
better?
Shit, you are dropping a bunch of stuff there.
Wow.
Yeah, I said that Rogan's brilliance is he has people on just have a conversation. So you get to hear from people in a conversation. I said I did throw in there his podcast is almost as good as the Grounds. So
Thanks for that one.
Oh wow.
yeah, well, and I kind of again, it's obviously he may or may not get a bigger audience, but it is similar in the fact that it's a conversation.
Right.
And I think that's what gets missed. Obviously, I think that's why people hate political ads. It's just this guy's terrible, this woman's terrible, you guys stink, you're garbage. If when you sit down and just have a conversation and you can watch that, you get an opportunity to see the people unfiltered and real. And I think that's the value. I think that's part of the reason he is so successful. It's not because he's just a genius, smartest guy in the world, but he's just having a conversation.
Right. And he's able to have a conversation with people, right? And even a discussion, not an argument or being defensive, right?
Right.
Hey, we're different. That's fine. Like Kent always says, help me understand.
Yeah.
Right. Like just help me understand, because maybe I'm looking at it from the wrong perspective, right? So help me understand where you're coming from. And he's really good with that, because he doesn't diss people if he doesn't believe the same thing. He's like, okay, not what I think, but okay, I see where you're coming from. So he's a really good host because he evokes a lot of emotion and a lot of truth out of people. And he doesn't bat you down. He doesn't belittle you, which I don't think we belittle people here either about their thoughts, right? I mean, I want to hear what you have to say. You
we
can
just
change my
belittle
mind.
you.
Yeah,
That's
just
it.
me, right? It's just me, not anybody else. But
Well,
what I
he's
mean?
effective. He's
That's
effective at challenging without, being insulting and condescending, like a lot of the news people are these days. It's insulting and condescending, right? He just follows up, but he will do follow-ups, and that's what some politicians can't handle, getting a follow-up question because they try their duck answer, and most media will just let that slide. But Rogan will just, well, tell me more about that, or why do you think this? And just simple questions like that force people to talk about what they really believe. And some politicians, you never really know what they believe because they just duck every question that could be a challenge for them with their base or trying to get new voters, that kind of thing. And I just appreciate the straightforward, and I think Shayna put down authentic conversation is gold. And I agree with that. And I actually, as someone who is kind of a political junkie and loves these conversations, I miss that I don't have very many of them, because so many people you can't have that conversation with, because it's,
That's sad.
Well,
it is. Very sad.
As Steve pointed out, over the last, we'll call it 8 to 16 years, you can't have a conversation without bringing up somebody's name. I can't defend my position without saying such and such is horrible.
Yeah.
Or such as this or that. And, I asked a lot of people, I'm like, hey, on either side of this fight that we just got through, what was their platform? Nobody knows.
Yeah.
There wasn't a platform.
My opponent is a rotten person, is not a policy.
I was just going to say, it's just tearing the other person
That's it.
apart. That's all it's been for a long time. And that's the thing, is people, they can't even talk about what they want to do or their plans, right? They're talking about how the other person messed up. And for me, I don't listen to that. I don't want to listen to that. It has no value for me. It has no value for us as humans, right? Like, where's the problem? I mean, it should be solution based. Here's the problem we got going on. We know what's going on. This is what we've tried. Maybe this is what we've tried in the past. This is what I'd like to try, or this is my whole idea. Instead, no, they really fucked that up. This person, that person, whoever they are. And instead of just regurgitating what's already happened, let's figure out how to fix it, right?
Yeah.
How to move forward.
Well, unfortunately, we're the suckers. We're the suckers as the American people, because I always tell people that complain about negative ads and all of this, I said, the only reason you see all these negative ads is, unfortunately, they work. If we as Americans would just shun people who just are negative, they'd stop doing it. But the reason they do negative ads is because they work.
Listen, my social media feeds are full of just comedians and fun commercials. And people are like, all the ads. I'm like, yeah, because I don't buy into. I understand how the algorithms work,
Right.
And I choose how to dictate that algorithm, right? But the unfortunate thing is, you're going to have somebody throughout the world who tunes in to Steve's funny meme that he puts out. It's going to go viral, and then whatever Steve says is gospel truth because he's got all these followers and he had something go viral, right?
Opinionated.
So now, unfortunately, the youth of America, and when I say that, that's anybody under the age of 50.
The youth
of America is so dialed in on social media that they just get fed. I mean, Barack Obama, and I've said it on this show time and time again, and I'll continue to say it when he was on David Letterman's My Next Guest Is, said, listen, we can't ever have good conversation anymore because Drew gets information from his algorithm, Scott gets information from his algorithm, and I get information from mine, and they're not the same. So Drew,
but that's where I disagree. Why can't those two people have a conversation? They should, so that we can find a common ground.
Because everything is so opposite, and people like, for me, like, or a lot of people, like, if you disagree with them or think that their view is wrong, you're like, it's like you shut down. It's like you don't hear them. You're just rude. It's like, no, you're stupid. Well, no, it's not. They're different than you. How did they get to that?
No,
why are they at that
That's
point?
an excellent point. No, that is.
Right. Why are you at that point? Help me understand why you're there.
I will.
Right. No, but I'm saying that's the thing. A lot of people don't do that. It's just they want to spit out what their bullshit is, right? And they're listening to answer instead of listening to learn. And I've been I've done that too. It's like, sit down, really invest in that person's information, see what's happening, float around your brain, see what's happening, and bring it back out. Just don't. I think a lot of people these days, just a second, if you're not exactly on the same page as them, they just shut you out.
They bring way too much emotion into
it. Right. And they're not being realistic. I mean, or I shouldn't say that. They're just, the emotion is there, but they're not even, I don't even think they're involved in the conversation. They're just waiting to attack you because you don't feel the same as them. And that's, to me, that sucks, because I like having conversations. I can't say I like, but I do appreciate, right? Like when a different view can be brought to me that someone's looking at it from a different way, and I can go, holy shit, like, I'd never really looked at it that way, right? And I appreciate that because I'm human. I am full of faults. So if somebody has something that can help me look at something different and maybe understand something different, bring it on. By all means, I want that. I don't want to get into a dispute with you over it.
Like Shayna says, I need all sides. That's what it says. I'm watching the comments on the for some reason we can't get it out.
StreamYard's not.
Thanks for chiming in.
It's a case of, if you don't understand. If you don't understand the other person's position, how are you ever going to understand how to influence them? If that is part of your desires, obviously, I think we all try to influence people to what our positions are. But if you don't understand their position, it makes it that much harder.
All right, Steve, you got something to say? You've been itching.
So I was just going to say this: what Don's talking about, what we're all talking about, and Scott touched on it. A very important point earlier. This fear is on purpose. It's orchestrated. Mm-hmm. This extremism isn't random. It didn't happen overnight. Correct. The reason you can't have a conversation calmly with another person anymore is because there are the two different media sources. You're getting one or the other, and they keep getting more extreme by the day, more fear-based. Yeah. Everything is fear-based.
How do you control the population?
And I talk about this all the time. So at 3 years old, your brain develops the capability to look beyond me versus them, us versus them. It doesn't have to be a struggle. You can learn to cooperate. That's at 3 years old. You put enough fear, you pump enough fear into somebody's life, you can revert them beyond the logical brain. I do say this all the time when it comes to, this is sort of just a second point. I say this all the time on the show. The whatabouts are my least favorite group. And that is all you see right now. That's all there is not one person being like, I like my candidate because of X, Y, Z. You say one thing and they go, oh, what about your candidate doing this, and this? What about it? And it's like, what about it? First of all, you don't even know who I voted for. I just made one comment about one person. Right. And everybody jumped down my throat. Like, you don't know who I vote for. You don't know who I support. You don't know my views. Right. but like you felt that was
Everybody's
necessary.
looking for
What
that
about-
attack.
Yeah. It's
Everybody's
like,
looking
oh,
for
did you see Trump said this the other day? Well, what about Kamala? What about, or my favorite, what about Joe Biden? It's like Biden hasn't even been. I don't even know if he's alive. Frankly, I haven't seen him in a while, and I'm starting to get concerned.
Biden is cool.
He's been gone. It's like the whatabouts, or you'd be like, hey, did you see Kamala said XYZ? And somebody will be like, oh, well, what about Trump? Yeah, what a disgusting fucking blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh, okay. I was commenting on one thing that Kamala Harris said. Had nothing to do with Donald Trump. It had to do with her and something that she said in a conversation by herself.
Right.
Like the whatabouts are so extreme that you can't have these logical
and they're not even listening
conversations.
to you. That's why they're what about, right? They're not listening to answer.
That's exactly
right?
it.
Or they're
But-
listening to answer, not listening to learn.
But-
So they're
and-
waiting to say, what about this? Well, let me
So-
finish what I'm saying so I can
They're
explain
just thinking
about
of
it.
the next thing they're going to attack
But yeah,
you with.
right,
They're not even
right.
listening.
Without getting
Right.
too much peanut butter, what Scott said was very,
That's
very
too late.
important.
We're already in the
Scott-
jar.
What Scott said about them
No, we're not.
about
good.
them making this dynamic, creating it on purpose, because there's other. Yeah, he very gently he just goes, I think there's other things going on. I'm gonna just address those other things real quick. It is easier to control a population when you control them through fear. You make them
100%.
fight each other, and Scott touched on that. It's extremely important because we're watching it, and we do need to come together and have unity.
And that's kind of
And
obvious,
it's just
too. You can see
right,
it.
but it's so far. Like Kent said, it seems like a civil war. It seems so much farther away right now than I've ever seen it before.
So-
Well, and here's the weird thing, right? Like with the conversations, it's sometimes even hard to have a conversation with a person that is like-minded with the same, even the same candidate, right?
Yeah.
Like I've had conversations with people that we were on the same page, but you touched on something that was, and it's like, you know what I mean? They bounce on you. It's like we're you're trying to work through something here and come to different, you know what I mean?
They don't know how to separate emotion from.
Right.
What did we?
Ken said the word "so" like 16 times in a row.
He's wanting
now.
to stick his
And
2
I've
cents
been-
in.
No, even I was like, I'm gonna blurt out the rest of what I gotta say, and then I'm like, all right, Ken. And then Scott starts. It's so.
Yeah. So Kent, go ahead. And that's the thing I'm saying. It's not just against different parties, right? It is also between the same like-minded peoples.
So let me circle back to what I said that Barack Obama said. Let me help Don and Scott understand why he said that. We can't have a good conversation because you get information from your algorithm and you get information from yours and I get it from mine. Now, back when we were young, we could walk over to Encyclopedia Britannica and read the same thing. We don't do that anymore. So Scott has a base of facts that his algorithm gives him that Scott takes as facts. Don has his algorithm that gives him another base of facts that Don says these are facts. And I have mine, and they're all not the same. So when Scott says, hey, 2 + 2 = 4, Don goes, no, 2 + 2 = 3.5.
No, I would say 4.
And then Kent comes in,
Why are you going to make Don sound like he's an idiot?
and then
I mean-
Kent comes in and goes, no, 2 + 2 = 75. And I can cite and send you a link to prove that 2 + 2 = 75. And I look at you and I start getting mad because you're trying to tell me that my fact is wrong.
Yeah.
Right? No, my facts, it's not even my opinion. I have 3 sources that I pulled off the internet given to me through my algorithm that I don't fact check, I don't look at, and I go, this is
100%
gospel
right.
truth.
Yep,
And so
right.
Don, it would be wonderful if we could, but I get incessantly upset when you try to tell me that blue is not blue because
Right.
your facts say it's more purple.
Well, who does
Yeah,
it?
well, and I hear you.
Right.
Deke. I said that's my argument is that's all the more reason why we should be talking with each other, because what's kind of funny today is what people call a fact. I'll use this. 52% of all facts are really opinions. When people speak as if they're speaking facts, they're really speaking opinions. And so I think that muddies it too. But I agree with you, Deke. People get different stuff from different sources. That's one of the things I try to do is listen to different people. I expose myself to the quote unquote media from the other side of the political aisle. and it does change your algorithm and your social media. And if any of you guys are friends with me on Facebook, you notice I never post a single thing about politics because it's a waste of time on
Smart man. Smart man.
And, that's where an intelligent conversation is so refreshing. Because one of my best friends down here that used to be a neighbor when I lived in Dallas the first time, man, he and I have some knockdown dragouts, but we're friends. But they're friendly knockdown dragouts because we're both trying to figure out why do you think that way? Why do you think that way? And we're still friends. And I tell you what, our differences can be pretty stark.
I think a lot of that's generational too.
Listen,
that could be true too. But and to your point, Steve, about fear, I hate the fear because it's just. I mean, look at these people freaking out today, like the world's going to end tomorrow. And again, I'm going to go back to if we would reject fear, then it would probably get reduced, but we don't. We feed off of it. We
teach our children. Right now, we have a mental health crisis in American schools because children are going to commit suicide over Trump winning because we taught them that. They didn't learn that. They didn't just go to school and be like, oh, wow, I'm going to jump. When I was in school, Bush was running for president. Okay, I remember this very much. No matter who won, I don't think I would have been like, I'm going to kill myself. I didn't care. I didn't care who won. I was
as a kid.
Taught our children this.
Well, when Scott was in school, Abraham Lincoln was becoming president. Was it like that then?
Yeah, all the
Was
time.
Abraham Lincoln.
So listen,
and then he was
Shayna-
all like,
There's
except for Tyrannus,
there's just a lot less misinformation.
Shayna says, "Are we pretending facts are flexible? I love political strategy and don't wait for an opinion to be fed to me. Intelligent people can have civil discourse. It's when cognitive dissonance hits. So no, Shayna, I'm not saying that facts are flexible. What I'm saying is what the algorithm feeds somebody, they choose to believe as fact.
Right.
Okay? Because they haven't seen it once, they've seen it a bunch. Now, social media marketing, people know this. If you see something how many times, you're apt to click on it and purchase it. What's that number?
7.
14.
I've heard 7, but it's okay.
Right.
The facts are different.
Right? So if there's a game that pops up on your screen in a commercial 14 times, usually that 15th you're going to go, well, let me get it.
Yeah, might as well.
Right? Let me see what this is about. You might have it for a week and get it off your phone. I do that all the time. Like, it wasn't as fun as I thought. Right? But when I get the same fact, quote unquote, air quotes on that, 14 times, it's now true. I mean, you tell a lie. This is just human nature. I can tell a lie so many times that I believe it is true.
Right. It's true.
Right?
That definitely goes on today. Yeah.
That's something that's rampant right now.
Right. It's rampant right now. Right. And you're right, Shana. Yes, intelligent people can have civil discourse. But right now, give me 10 intelligent people. Right? I mean, because people are so infuriated. There was students are saying they want to kill themselves because of the way the election turned out.
Yeah.
That's scary, and we have to seriously take stock of what is happening right now, and that's why we're talking about this. Because I don't care who won. I really don't care who won.
I don't care either.
Right. I'm an American, but I believe in the people more than I believe in a president.
It's true statement.
I believe in the people more than I believe in any politician out there, right? And I've got friends who are politicians, right? Elected officials.
I believe in the idea of America. I believe in the unity of America, regardless. Listen, we might, and I said it earlier, and this might go against what I said earlier, but we, as a unit, we can't find the common denominator to unite.
There always used to be a commonality.
Correct.
Every time.
Correct.
There was always something that everybody agreed on. Right now, I can't see anybody agreeing on anything.
Well, and that's just it. So when
huge.
there's, and I don't mean to interrupt you, Ken. So when there is, I got my token. It's my token. Where's my token? When there is something, a common denominator for, and it doesn't matter what color, creed,
Right.
You are what your politics or your religious beliefs. When there's that common denominator where we're all at threat, that's when we all go, do they not know who the fuck we are as a unit? And right now, you're right. We don't have that. So now we're looking to pick that fight internally because we're looking for something. If you want to find negative, you're going to find it when you're looking for it. Yeah. And then you're going to take that negative and then you're going to share that negative. And that negative thing is right because you said so, because you got it from the resources off of your algorithm. Right. And now you want to spread that. And Scott, fuck you if you don't believe me, because your algorithm says differently in your optimism about how the world's going to work today, right? So it's this circle of circus clowns that's just kind of, listen, everybody, if everybody just took a deep breath and just relax just a minute and then fact check your information, fact check it.
Well, and and have open minds, right? Like everybody's so closed-minded. Like just because, and like once again,
it's not black and white,
right? It's not black and white. It's not, and it's not party specific. It's just be open-minded as to what we are as a country, what we want to accomplish, and do we know how to get there? And if we do, let's work together. Because if you work apart, nothing's going to happen. And you see what happens now, the way the world is, right?
Yeah,
having a conversation.
Fact check where is what Shana says. All right, Steve, go. You're itching again. I see.
So I had a very unique experience during the last 8 years. As you guys know, my parents on the extreme opposite ends of this spectrum. My dad, very, very hardcore Trumper. It's like very hardcore Trumper. My mom about to join the new Black Panthers because she's like so progressive and liberal. Every time she looks something up online and I heard them have an argument. This is a perfect example of something this is where we've gotten, I feel, as a country when it comes to arguing over actual information. Yeah. My dad comes up to my mom. He goes, they're doing abortions on babies that are like 3 years old. My mom looks at him and she's like, she calls me immediately. She's like, I don't even know how to respond to him. Like what? And I go, this is going around. I go, there are people that are saying this. I go, you know why? Because there's a meme that says it. People are getting their news off of this fucking meme.
You don't respond to that because if you look at it from a fact, that's just an absolute nightmare.
That answers your question, Shana. Fact check where?
I saw.
Don't fact check off a meme. That's what you don't do.
All of my dad's friends had shared this meme, and I was laughing, and I was like, Dad, it's a meme. Right. It's a meme. It was probably created just to stir up shit.
It's called sarcasm.
But now people are like, he was genuinely telling my mom.
But I saw that
was
meme.
Happening.
I saw that meme, and it was actually a midget on death row. It wasn't a 3-year-old.
Here's where Shana's right, but this is about where fact checking, right? It's about getting all the information and being able to sort through it and decipher what's bullshit.
I can't. It's too early.
I'm sorry, Scott.
No, don't be sorry. No,
oh my God.
Shana, in your best Joe Biden is here's the deal. Let me be clear. I'm serious. If you're an idiot before, you will likely be the same idiot when the vote is tallied. Bob comes in and says the idea that if you repeat a lie often enough, people will believe it. Yeah. Sure. What were we talking about?
Well, we were talking about fact checking. For me,
we were talking about a midget. This poor guy on death row.
Listen. For me, I think
we call them little people now. I think
here's the best thing. The best recommendation I can give everybody out there listening. No matter when you tune into this, whether you tune in on YouTube, like, share, create, subscribe, share this out, do all the good stuff. If you're listening to this on Spotify, because you're on the treadmill right now, walk faster. But the bottom line is this: if I can help everybody, and if America wants to heal, pick up the book by Stephen R. Covey. Right, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
That's a great
book.
Okay, really those 7 habits. Think win-win. Right, that's one of them. We don't do that. We think how to win, lose. How do I get on top of you? Right. Mm-hmm. How do I beat you? Think win-win. Right, and then here's the best one that I always say: seek first to understand, then to be understood. Right.
That's Right.
People, I'm very patient, and I love to listen to people because first I want to understand. So here's a story. At last night's game, Morgan, one of my players, quiet gal, just sharp. She's a music major, and she goes, "Can I sing the national?" I'm like, "Yeah, sing the national anthem." The athletic director comes up to me because Morgan hasn't said 3 words to her. She's like, "Does she have a good voice?" I go, "I think so." I go, "I've never heard her."
Who cares?
Okay, now I'm still
It's our national anthem.
Look, I'm still the American who gets moved at the national anthem, right?
Yeah.
So Morgan gets up and she belts out a Whitney Houston type. I mean,
Nice.
it's just angelic.
Yeah.
And I'm getting the proud dad moment. I'm choking back tears, like, holy crap, this is amazing. I look across the gym, and there's some men's from the men's basketball team sitting on the bleachers eating. Now, I'm having a proud dad moment, and I look at them and I go, "Good for you." Right? And a lot of people be like, "What?"
Right.
I'm like, "No, this song gives them the right to do that."
That's right.
Don't have to like it, but they have the right to do it.
And I'm like, "Good for you." This is what America is about, right? Do I agree with it? Not necessarily, but good for you because that's what America is. It gives you the right to do that, right? And I didn't go up to them and ask them, "Hey, you guys should be better." I didn't look at them cross-eyed or whatever. Yeah. But in my heart, I go, "Good for you guys.
Yeah,
you do it."
Deke, I would only change that "good for America" because in a lot of countries they do the same thing. They'd be shot.
Yeah.
Well, no, and that's such an important. It's such an important point to make. It really is because this is America. We all do have our freedoms. That's what we love about this country, right? Yeah. And one of my least favorite things that I hear during the common discourse we've been talking about is, if you don't like it, then leave. That's the most un-American thing you could possibly say to somebody. Right. You don't like it, leave. That's what is this, communist Russia? No, this is.
And if you're saying if
I don't like it, we change it. You
right.
fight.
And if you say I'm leaving if this person wins, open the door for them. Yeah.
That's right.
How dare you?
If you don't
don't
want to vote, you don't have to.
That's correct.
But don't bitch.
Yeah, you can.
When things happen.
That's what I'm
Stop
saying.
right there.
Right.
You still can.
That's your right.
No,
I can. If I don't vote,
it is your right.
I can bitch about whatever the fuck I want. You know why? Because that's what America's about. You can do that.
Right, but it's, if
nobody's stopping me from doing it.
No, but the thing is if you have an opportunity to hopefully make a difference with something that bothers you, and you don't, and you're going to bitch about it, it is our right? But if you're not going to, if you're going to take a step to change something,
I'm going to give Kent the rein on that one. I'm going to give Kent the rein on it, but I do want to make a comment.
Yeah. So you're the guy. Hey, Constitution, we do that. That's my First Amendment right, freedom of speech. I don't have to. I have the right to vote. Don't say. I hate when people say, "Well, then you don't have the right to bitch." No, I do, because I'm an American. Right. I have the right to bitch about anything. So don't tell me not to.
Right.
That is the most.
Then don't take my tax dollars.
That's right. That's right. That is the most irritating thing to me.
Well, that's a regurgitated statement that people pick up and they're like, "Well, yeah, I guess you don't have
catchphrase. It's a catchphrase."
No, but if you're not gonna take the opportunity to try to change something and then bitch about it, what good is it? You have, as your God-given right, as your right as an American, you have the opportunity to try to make a difference. Sure. And I'm going to use the word "try."
Sure.
Right. But if you don't even try to make that difference, right?
Sure.
What gives?
How do you know that by not voting isn't making a difference? How do you know that if everybody didn't vote, it would say louder than words for everybody that did vote? You don't know that.
That's Scott, guys. I want to chime in here, Scott. The difference, Scott, is again, I don't like people that complain when they didn't vote, but they have the right to. But
that's right.
What I would say to them is, you don't have the right to complain. My response would be, well, what are you doing about it?
Okay. So
boom.
Right. Well, that's what I was just.
This is why I love Don.
Right. I was like to say, now what? Okay, life is stuff. That's a big problem. Now what?
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Scott.
Have you ever?
No, that's fine.
Have you ever complained about Wi-Fi coverage or cell reception coverage on your phone?
Right.
Well, of course.
Okay.
I can't do anything about that.
Well, then you have no right to complain. Then you have no right to complain. You haven't tried to fix it, what you're telling me is you have no right to complain.
No. All right, let's see that. I did. I chose. Right. So there are companies out there that are better than others, right?
Uh-huh.
So I chose the one that has the best signal. That was my choice. Now I bitched about the one that I didn't like. I got rid of them.
Okay.
Right? Because that was my right. I got rid of the one, right, that I was bitching about. I made a choice to go to something that I felt was
okay.
better.
So
right?
they
And
made
that
a
was my
choice. They made a choice to stay neutral and not vote.
Right, but I don't bitch about this company that I was with before. I made my choice. I made my change.
This is obviously a very sensitive subject for you.
Well, it's
Because
the
I
way
can
the
tell
world-
you're
right,
a
but
little
it's
hurt
the way
on
the
it.
world thinks. If you want something to change, you have to help be part of that change.
But
and if you're not,
sometimes-
and you're going to bitch about
So
the
I'll
way
give you a
it's
perception,
happening,
but sometimes,
right?
sometimes
Lady.
that is the change.
Yeah.
Sometimes that could be the change. You don't know that. Perspective is key in anything.
Well,
Look at it
absolutely.
from all sides.
I do.
Like Shana says, and I agree with that. I might not like that,
Mhm.
but I usually ask, okay, well then how is that helping, or what are you doing about it? And if they say nothing, or they say I'm not going to do shit about it, they also have that right.
Yeah.
That's the great thing about America. That's why we're free. That's why there's doers and non-doers. You can still be an American and be a doer or a non-doer, but you still have the American right.
You have the American right to do it, but why? So if you are upset with something and you don't, let's say, decide to change, right? And then you're going to bitch about, to me, that's counter. It's just like, why waste your time? If you're not going to waste your time to try to change it,
So what do you think
why
should
bitch about
happen to the people that do that?
Well, I mean, that's
What should
a
happen?
really broad.
They should be ignored. They should be ignored. If you just complain,
Well,
I have
I
the
mean,
right to
me-
ignore you.
So let's just use the cell phone, right? If you're going to bitch about your service and not look at another company that may have better service, right? And you have the opportunity to find that solution,
Sure.
and you choose not to do it,
Mhm.
that's your problem. It's your life. I might laugh at you inside going, well, the dummy, you could change that, right?
Mhm.
You could make a difference. If you choose not to, that's fine. That's your right, right? But don't come bitching to me that you didn't exercise your right.
Wait a minute, though. He did exercise his right by not voting.
But then
So-
he just why
but
why
here's-
keep bringing it up to me?
But here's
Because
the
he
deal.
didn't vote in protest.
Because
That's his right.
Not even-
here's the deal. He didn't support what it is currently, and he didn't support what he thinks it might be.
Right.
He chose to stay neutral.
Yep.
That was his choice. So you can't say by not voting you didn't do anything, and he did.
Mhm.
He spoke very loudly. What you want to say is, I don't want to have a conversation with you
Right.
if you didn't.
Well,
Right?
all I can
Right.
say is,
But they
with
have
that
the right.
mentality, you can see where our world is at right now, and I think a lot
It's
of
the
people
same
take that
reason-
mentality, and I think that's part of the reason that we're here.
It's so because this is getting into an emotional conversation, but
Good. Life
let's-
is emotion.
Let's look at it. Let's look at it this way. You said, well, then why does he keep bringing it up to me? Well, it's the same reason why anybody would bring up you need to vote Trump, you need to vote Kamala. That's the same. It's in that same realm. No, I don't vote.
I don't.
I'm going to bring that up. I had a woman stand next to me, and I told you the Mr. T Trump outfit.
Mhm.
But
Oh, yeah.
the conversation started because I was looking at beef stock on the shelf, and it was $4, and I was like, "Holy crap!" I remember this was like $1, right? And she was like, "You could thank Kamala for that." And I was so angrily, and then she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know who you're voting for." I'm like, "Yeah, you sure don't." But that's okay. I go,
Doesn't
everybody's got their opinion, and I go, just let me ask you a legitimate question. What does beef stock have to do with Kamala?
Right. No. But a woman
And-
dressed head to toe, willing to start an argument in a grocery
Willing
store,
to
probably
start
doesn't
that
have the
argument,
best
right.
grasp on reality right now.
Well, true. But
right.
everybody, and so the fact is people are quick to regurgitate what they hear other people say without forming their own reality to it. They don't
100%.
look at, and I've heard that statement before, like if you don't vote you can't complain. Well, yeah, you can.
Well,
but
all
that's
right. If you don't vote, you
if
shouldn't
you don't,
complain.
if you're
'cause you don't
eating
care.
during, if you're during, that doesn't mean that you
Well,
don't
well, no,
care.
'cause even
Well,
prior to the
let's
election-
just take it off the election. Let's use the cell phone example, right?
Okay,
You have the opportunity to fix something, to change something you're upset about.
sure.
But you choose not to, but then you're still going to bitch about it. That makes no sense to me, right? Like you have the opportunity to fix something, change something.
Yeah, but if
as
you're
simple
stuck
as
in
a cell phone,
situation-
no, but as simple as a cell phone, right? You can get a better service over here by voting with your dollar. I'll use this. We vote with our dollar every day if we want to buy a product, eat at a store, something
Sure.
like that. If you choose not to exercise that right by not voting, right? I'm going to use the phone, by not changing to that phone company, that's your choice, right? But why bitch to me that you didn't do something that you had the opportunity to change?
So let me,
hey guys, can I chime in here? Because this is getting a little bit old and weary.
Thank you.
The bottom line is, Scott, if you don't vote, you can still complain, but I have the choice not to listen to you.
You do, but why? But so the thing is if you have the opportunity though to change something and you choose not to, you have made a choice. So you can't expect it to change. And why are you going to bitch about something that you had an opportunity to fix and you chose?
Yeah, my point is, Scott, look how worked up you are about that person. Let him go. Let him go. Dust off your sandals.
I'm just speaking in general, all around.
Yeah. I get you.
For your specific example, using the cell phones, right? Now, ahead of the election, I had a conversation with Drew, and this is the exact same as if he goes, I'm going to be forced into a cell phone plan. I need a cell phone. Everybody's got to have a cell phone. I'm forced into a plan. I don't like any of them. They all suck. I don't feel like picking one is worth my time because I know I'm going to get screwed. I had a very similar conversation with him about the election. Now, is not that his right to say, I don't believe in the system? I'm going to choose to just be me and live in my lane, and I don't want to get involved in whatever you people are doing. Because he made that choice before. It's not like he waited and then he was like, my candidate didn't win. But that's fucked up. I know I didn't vote, but my person, he's not doing that. He's still saying, like, given the opportunity, he probably won't vote again because doesn't believe in the system.
Well, it's the same circus, different clown in a lot of
people. 100%. We fought. Our country has fought for the right for us to have the opportunity to vote and to share our opinion with who we think should be the next person, and
as well as not to.
Cell phone, right, as well as not to. But for me, and this is just me, and obviously you guys are on a different page, I'm not going to bitch about something I didn't try to change, right? Like if there's something I want to change and I don't do anything about it, the last thing I'm going to do is bitch to you about it because I'm not going to waste my time doing something like that, right? I have my right. I have that God-given right. But I'm not going to waste my time. It makes no sense to me to bitch about something that you didn't try to.
But if he had voted for Kamala and then he came in and had the same conversation today, would it be different? Because he had tried, he did not succeed. Trump won.
What?
So if he had voted for Kamala and he came in and he was bitching about the state of the world today, would it make a difference?
Nice way to look at that.
Well, he can look at it and say the world has spoken on that one. He did what he thought was right, and he voted for the person he thought was right. It didn't turn out the way he wanted it. So can he complain about that? Of course he can. Of course he can, because he tried. But the person that didn't try, yes, they have the right to bitch. But for me, it's like, I don't want to listen to you because you didn't take the initiative to try to fix it. Right, and I don't. But
you have the right not to listen.
I do.
I'll be honest with you guys. I don't want to listen to people complain whether they won, they lost, their side won, they lost. I don't want to hear people.
To me,
that's the point.
Right.
I don't want to listen to anybody.
Right. For me, this is your reality. Live with it. Make it work out the best possible way for you. Me bitching to you guys about what I didn't do and had the right to do doesn't mean jack shit.
My two favorite words are now what? Now what?
And here's the thing. I still respect your decision no matter what it would have been because that's what you decided to do. And you're my friend. So it's kind of like you can have that conversation. By law, I have to say that.
Hold on.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. But right. So, and like Don's saying, it's a little bit wary on the same subject for like the last 20 minutes. But these are the rights. And it kind of came up where these youngsters are sitting on a bench eating during the national anthem, or if it was a Pledge of Allegiance, or these are the rights. This is what we're fighting for, regardless if you want to or don't want to. These are the rights that we have. And so people are just quick to get hurt and angry. There's a sensitive level. Very similar to the comments that we've just been talking about. There's a sensitive level. You're obviously sensitive about it. People get sensitive about it, but it's okay to be sensitive about it. But when you start bringing anger, emotion into the conversation, now the conversation's over because you're not getting anything accomplished by having a conversation. It's just yelling at each other about one subject that you just don't agree on, so you can move past it and say, we can agree to disagree.
Here's what I'll say as we're running up the back end of this is in his book, Stephen Covey, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. The concept of the book, a lot of people don't know, is character ethic, right? And that's what we're very short on I feel today in America is character ethic. And I say it at the end of so many shows that I produce is, hey, everybody be good, but more importantly, be good to one another, right? Yeah. Scott will say at the end of this show, be the change you want to see out there, right? And it all boils down to this. We've put a lot of energy, hate, fear-mongering into our society in the idea of an individual and not the idea of America. Okay. And if we are the land of the free and the home of the brave, and everybody has a right to live in this nation legally, then guess what? Then we need to treat everybody with that same respect, right? I don't care if your hair is purple and you say you're a unicorn. If you're a good motherfucker, I don't like you.
Right.
Yep. That's just the honest to God truth, right? I don't care if you decide to go in my backyard and poop in the backyard. Kind of look at you cross-eyed. Tell one of my kids to go pick it up like they do the dog poop, because I'm not going to do it. But the bottom line is,
everybody has a Scott.
Hold on. What the fuck is that supposed to mean?
You're pooping in people's backyards.
You're
still so angry. Relax. It's
angry.
okay.
I'm not angry at all. That's the funny thing about it.
So
I enjoy this.
The bottom line is, we've got to, we as a nation have to do better at being better people.
Right.
Yeah.
And Bob, you ask, what is the new Merica? That's what I'm saying. The new Merica has to be. In the next 4 years, 10 years, 16 years, 20 years, whatever it may be, we fundamentally as a nation have to become better at being better people. And and you know what? A powder keg is just a powder keg until a fuse is lit. And I think maybe a fuse has been lit right here in America. It's
been lit, I think, for a while.
And there's going to be a change fundamentally, but at the same time, I think we have to just be better people. That's it. Yeah. To each other.
Right. Amen to that. Can't argue with that one.
It's the way we're divided right now is not good for anybody, no matter what you're doing in any way, shape, or form. And that's the way the new Merica is. And that's, how I feel. I mean, I love everybody just like you do, right? I love everybody. I hate everybody. And I give you that opportunity to, show me your true colors, right? I'm not going to
let me know what list I'm putting you on.
Exactly.
Right.
And the thing is, and that's the thing, being nice to people. I mean, understanding that they're a human, they've got issues, they've got this, instead of just, he's this or he's that, she's that, no, they're human. Accept that first. Understand they go through the same shit you go for. Be nice to them. You know what I mean? You don't know what's happening, and you can't fault people. Everyone has their own ideas and opinions and stuff. Like, embrace it. Listen to it, form your own opinions. And if you don't like that, that's great. That's your choice. Go to your own opinion, right? Do what you know is right in your world. But also, for me, think about the greater good, what really makes sense for everybody, because we are all here together. And we have to, in some way, shape, or form, come together to make a better America, right? And I'm hoping that people can do that, right? I mean, I always talk about
just so you know,
stuff.
We are on the back end, and you sound like you're in mid-sentence. I don't want you to get cut off.
No, my big thing is just, treat people the way you want to be treated, right? Understand that it's not as easy as people make it out to be, but don't make it as hard. It seems like people want to make the simple things so much harder, right? Yep. Life is life. Life can be very simple.
You got to make it complex.
Right? Like, hey, I'm a human, you're a human. Treat me like a human. Be nice to me. If you don't like certain things I do, that's fine. That's you, right? But don't persecute me. Don't out me, just move on. Right? If I'm not your person, move on. Do what's, that song that I always say, work hard, be nice to people, do your family, do what needs to be done. Your character, your ethics, your morals have all been compromised over the last, God knows how many years, right? Because of the fear mongering, right? And stuff like that. It's a control thing. Understand, people, you are an individual. You can do what you want to do, and you should do what works for you, right? But also respect the other individuals in this world. I love you all. That's all I got to say, because I hate talking politics with people, because everyone's different. Just do what you know is right and stand by what you do and back it up and help people understand why.
That was well said.
I hope so. Thank you.
It was.
Hold on. Let me do this to myself.
You need to take a breath, though, in between those.
Because at my age, being so old, I forget about stuff.
Great seeing you, Don.
Likewise, guys. Good show.
Always a great time. Sorry, folks, with the chat, we couldn't bring that up. Shayna, always great to have you.
Yeah, I couldn't see any of your.
Hey, come back around 3 p.m. Even though with Steph and Joe talking about youthful ignorance versus veteran experience in the business world.
Yeah. Well, like Kent said earlier, hey, I'm going to say it to you at the end. Go out there and be the change you want to see in the world, right? I mean, help everybody out. We thank you and appreciate you guys for tuning in every week and listening to, us. And, just keep it up. Go out there. Go America. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I love you all. Thank you so much.